Now everybody has to push a button.
So you got to repeat the Englishman and the Hindu story, maybe or maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know. No, it's okay. I'll tell it again, and then most of you will go like, "Oh, that again." Well, that's just a part of what we do here. Repetition is part of it. But so indeed, the background of the sky is consciousness. The background of our lives is consciousness, open spaces, awakened awareness, and then we in our beautiful practice recognize that too. So we have the mind perspective and the event perspective, and we play with that. And we learn to not step out of the immediacy of the all good, which we call the maybe can call the not now. And in that not now is a dream theater we call time. And in that dream theater, events in a way of, like we talk about, awakening, transformation, realization, um, don't happen later. It's just like there's always this little thing about, like, oh yeah, one day. Well, that one day is right now. Welcome, all you entering beautiful ones. So it's not later, right? So it's not. It doesn't happen later. It happens now, maybe while it happens later. Whatever that dichotomy is of these practices. And in that obsession with time and seeking in time, um, it ends up subsiding. And then this experience of awakening does not even happen. So that small seeking world collapses into a world where seeking cannot even exist because there is no time. Oh, all right. Of course, for the creativity in the world, the playfulness, we're playing in time, the sandbox of time. But just like starting to realize that, and then we get a little bit more, sophisticated. You're all serious yogis here, so we'll look for a moment a little bit about how we work in Dzogchen and Mahamudra and maybe some of the other streams of wisdom coming down, how we work with thoughts. So they talk about shard roll. So that's shard roll is that we at least have the capacity to wake up to our thoughts and often just catch them by the tail, right? It's like a whole bunch of them went by and went, oh, a thought, there it is, right? And we catch it by the tail, and then now we press it now. So now we start catching some thoughts by the head, and then we even can go like, can we? Do we have to think them or not? So right now, right here, just be present in that space that knows its thoughts, and then maybe let go of any agency. And there's like, it's me that's catching the thoughts. Another layer of thoughts, more implicit in the background. Right? Still a bit of sky against the background of consciousness, against the background of the natural great perfection, saturating everything, and then that perspective of it even being a background even dissolves, and then a little bit more non-dual, then foreground and background collapse into each other, and there's this the all at onceness of the everythingness of all that we are. If you wish, maybe you can join me with a breath. Just let the everythingness, just keep your eyes open and just like realizing that that whole field and all the events in the field, even the event of the experience, what it feels like to be us, and the knowing of it is this one beautiful wholeness. And then we start realizing the next one is, they call it rung roll or self liberation, is where, sorry, yeah, no, that's shard roll. It's, they call it like a snake uncoiling itself. So the actual thoughts are like waking us up. So that's you might have that at times now, or long. This is the practice. The more we do it, the more profound and immediate these realizations are, and the duration too. So yes, that seems to have a time component, because I appear to be in a better relationships with my thoughts than in my apparent history. But the history is arising right now too. So we're healing our history and the history of the world right now in these realizations. So the thought itself, upon arising, it's being recognized, and it's the snake is unknotting itself, because the thoughts are usually, when they are not recognized, they end up in a knot, right? The knot of the Western mind, the not good enoughness. And if we're really honest, we all ended up in this space because it didn't really feel all the way right. And it still doesn't sometimes. And now we go like, oh yeah, that not rightness is the playfulness of my being too. And in the moment we realize that, we give ourselves another A plus. There we are. It's like a little bit of gratitude for the beauty of us coming to this space. A plus. Beautiful. Say thank you, whatever this being is that is coming to this space. And then indeed, the another realization is then Rangdrol. They call it the self-liberation, like a thief coming in an empty house. Presence is already so radiant and present that the thought has absolutely no influence on that which knows. The thought might have a purpose in the dream theater of the sandbox of the playfulness of the sandbox of time. So let's play. So from the absolute perspective, which is sometimes not so appreciated by many, it doesn't matter if it's darkness or light in the, or evil or good and all that. But we come together because we have realized we like to play nice. And so we set that intent. Let's really set it. May all beings play nice. I mean, we're all walking each other home anyway, no matter what the story is. It might be war or not. Ultimately, we're walking ourselves home, each other home in a really, upside down way. So let's walk each other home with glowing hearts. And then we end up in this space together. How amazing. So here we are. It's like we're on that bus where we have a loving and a good time. So yeah, so the space mingling right now, just being present with my environment, maybe already kind of not realizing there is not really me on this side and whatever I hear and see on the other side. Like a child, like the all at onceness of the experience, like the child gaze. Amazing, look at these mountains, look at this temple, look at this brightness. And then with a bit more experience, we go like, well, that's pretty amazing and tricky that we can experience it as mundane. So then the most profound meditation is not something we do, this is what we are. So here we are. The clear light mind manifesting as the creativity of the Buddha mind, the universal database. Words, 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 just being present. And then our mind becomes less contracted. It's not so attached to compulsive thought and worry. Our space of awareness feels more open and free. And all the tightness of our self-definition begins to let go into a growing sense of connection to all of life and to our world of experience, by becoming more and more aware of our own undefined and insubstantial state of beingness. becoming more and more familiar with that aspect within ourselves that is changeless, perfect, eternally free, and timeless. So right now it is from the heart. We didn't even get all official with gongs. Okay, here I help. And taking refuge in all that. Just gaze into the space around, notice this the sphere of awareness, boundless sphere of awareness, which is always in the very immediacy of our experience, always accessible right there. Just that tiny shift. The shiftless shift even is just oh yeah. And then we have the mind perspective and the event perspective simultaneous. And then the ego might start expressing itself into the world from indeed its craftsmanship, its virtuosity, its expertise, technique, workmanship, artistry, whatever, all that too. And then we delight in that. The field of being, notice the richness and the texture of presence has a resonance in the body even, because the body is part of the field. It's just shimmering light. It's just shimmering at a frequency, so we have, and then we stuck in the dream theater of experience, label it as like, that's my body. My beautiful body, my expression in the world as the healing Buddha. And then, yeah, you can get all technical. No healing needs to be done because everything is perfect as it is. Great. But now we just use that as an inspiration to indeed play nice. So what is the source you're operating and expressing your life from? Brilliantly, beautifully, sparkling, awakened awareness with all the cells activated and every cell a expression of the boundless whole, or the habitual what about me mind, and then ultimately both. Let it play, let it be free, let it be loving, let it be creative. May your life be creative as the expression of love in the world from our practice together today. Thank you for being here with us. Even now, there's already there's a little shift, something, another event is arising. What is the event? The event will be the resonance of awareness. All sounds are awareness, all sights are awareness, all feelings and emotions are awareness. So let this sounding be for the loving playfulness, so all beings may play lovingly in the sandbox of time. Sangye chodang soki choknam la jangchu bardu dakni kyapsu chi daki jin so gipe sonam ki dola penshir sangye drupar shok. Sangye chodang soki choknam la jangchu bardu dakni kyapsu chi daki jin so gipe sonam ki dola penshir sangye drupar shok. In Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Spiritual Community, we go for refuge until fully enlightened. By the power of all six perfections, from generosity to non-dual wisdom, for the sake of all beings, may we realize beautifully enlightened, loving Buddhahood. Right now, wake up wherever you are. hearts beating together, sounding, breath coordinating, molecules supported by vibration of pure sound, emptiness, awakefulness. Let these soundings be like a sacred vehicle to the hearts and minds of all beings. Be free, be free. I'll do this with the melody that Dzogchen Rinpoche heard in his dream. Sounds a bit more dreamy and maybe a bit more direct to the heart. Orjin Yulji Noob Johnson Be My Gezar Dong Pula Iatsun Jurgi Noob Drugne Be My Jungne Jesurak Kordu Kandro Mang Pokor Ki Jesu Darubki Jinji Lab Shir Shek Suso Guru Pe My City Om 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 Benzargu Be My City 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 Set the intent to sound as lovingly as you can. Fake it while you make it. Om Benzargu Be My City 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 Om and the sounding and the silence. The sky-like nature of mind. Playfulness, lightly, joy of being. By itself arising, by itself liberating. Just watch it all go by. Gazing into the space all around, eyes closed or open. And if you always have your eyes closed, maybe today at some point open them. All at once this gaze. Open the peripheral vision. More looking at modulations of light, gazing into modulations of light than particularizing the content of the visual field. Gazing from the heart, as if awareness flows out from the heart to the eyes, apparent local sphere of awareness. Gazing into the open, free, flowing space all around. A space that has a knowing quality. Mingle your awareness into the open space. And mingle the open space into your awareness. Now spacious awareness saturates everything. Take a breath. Flow out a bit more, or a lot more. Gazing from being to. Don't be limited by your visual fields. Be free. Welcome home. if your gaze becomes a little more narrow and starts resting on an object, just open it back up again into the all-at-onceness, and and while you have that non-particularizing gaze, it doesn't go out of focus. It's very bright and present. You can also rest the gaze in space before it reaches any object. Just like both simultaneous. Just play with your own gaze. Now notice that awareness is without bound, limitless, and expands into all directions like an infinite sphere. Please notice that awakened awareness has intention. We can express ourselves directly from the field of presence. We don't have to go access thought to be able to express. Expressing straight from the natural state. Let's take another beautiful breath. Set the intent to embrace all beings, be even more boundless. brighten the mind. Being here means love is here. Love appearing as presence. Expressing itself as gratitude and loving kindness. Don't hold the mind too tight. Allow it to move some. Let things come, let things go. Maybe while staying in that boundless immediacy of presence, Hear sound, hear silence. Hearing sound, hearing silence. The backdrop of thought, the backdrop of sound is consciousness. Saturating all of it, not just the backdrop. All pervading. Backdrop of thoughts and emotions is awareness, consciousness, sky-like nature, mind. Holding the co-arising view of the mind perspective and the event perspective. Even if the event perspective is the somewhat apparent mundaneness of the space around me as I know it, my heart feels still like a shimmer of rainbows on a sparkling spring day. A thought might pass by, come into apparent beingness and dissipate again, with maybe somewhat of a message of incompleteness. Yet the heart still shines with fullness. Allowing the space of presence to shimmer with some content. Doing some deliberate mind wandering. if you want to keep it simple and just visualize a flower or a vista or whatever, is a visual of goodness or a sounding of goodness. So living our life while experiencing it from the wide open field of awareness. And when that is shimmering with presence, anything that arises has no seductive quality and pull us in any direction of emotion. And even if emotion arises, that too is empty, an event that comes and goes. Even if they appear to arise at a very frequent rate, it's not our true identity. Our true identity is the natural great completion of spacious presence. And from there, we embrace all beings. May they be all free from concern and pain. May they know love through loving. And may our voice be the heart beacon of the realization of loving for all beings. And upon that realization of all beings, they thank you for your beautiful practice. Thank you so much. This is not a small thing, our togetherness. In gratitude for a lineage of loving wisdom. Gewa di nurdu dak dzokpachempo drup gyurnye doa chikyang malupa dei sala gopar shok. Through this virtue may we swiftly realize and fully embody the natural great perfection and ever bring all without exception to its complete realization. Jangchup semchok rinpoche, makyepa nang kye gyurchik, kyepa nyampar me paharyang, gongne gongdu pelvar shok. May the pure, brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened. May all beings everywhere, with whom we are inseparably interconnected and who want and need the same as we do, may all be awakened, happy, liberated, healed, fulfilled, and free. May there be peace in this world and throughout all realms of existence and all possible universes. An end to war, violence, poverty, injustice, and oppression. And may we all together complete the spiritual journey. One family all the way home, heart to heart. There you all are. Thank you for being here with us. Alright then, got a few minutes. Let me know if you have any strictures or realizations, misunderstandings or epiphanies, or about your practice during the week. We need to hear it. It's important for all of us. even if you feel it's not going so well.
So I listened to this TED Talk yesterday by Donald Hoffman, and it's on our perception of reality and evolutionary fitness. It's really, really a good talk. Really, really good. And it turns out statistically and through a lot of game playing that fitness wins out over our perceptions of reality. So that the more accurately we see the world, the fitter we become. And I think through mindfulness, that's where we're heading. And the whole end game is having more kids, I guess.
Ones
But
that play nice in the sandbox, right?
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's really, really a good talk. Very good talk.
Um,
Donald Hoffman.
you can maybe put the link somewhere. It you don't have to do that right now.
Okay.
If you put the link in our little text group and
Yeah.
anybody wants to join the text group, let
Yeah.
me know. But
Yeah.
and then I'll put it out somewhere
But
else.
if you just look up Donald Hoffman TED, you'll find it.
But we're not just talking here about fitness of body. We're talking about fitness of mind and fitness of heart and fitness of the cognitive capacity, not to fall, to keep on awakening. I guess putting some muscle on the fitness of returning to presence. Could I say that? Or
So I think what he's saying is that kind of goes back to what Galileo was saying, that tastes, odors, colors, they're only alive in our consciousness.
right.
They're not, I mean, it's like describing an apple. You say it's crunchy and it's sweet, but you can't actually describe the taste of an apple, right? So that goes back to long philosophical discussions. And so this is where reality sets in, and what is in our consciousness.
So what is the taste of consciousness?
I don't know. I think it's what you perceive, right?
Well, yeah,
And
that's the
and
flavor of it. Yeah, it has
right. And your perception of it and your dealing with it is what makes you fit in our world, in our reality.
So
It's different from your reality.
how is he using fit really?
I think he's a evolutionary biologist.
Mhm.
And so I suppose fit is dealt with reproduction, right?
Okay. So yeah, so the reproduction also
Yeah.
down the biological chain, but maybe also uh, the reproduction of like the concentric circle so far kind of maybe more
Sure,
fit, and then maybe we can use fit a little bit in our group as
sure.
a more compassionate fit, more
Yeah,
wise communication. So
yeah,
it's all not just biological going down the chain of genetics, but
right.
also already in the immediacy of our sphere of being right now. So I'm trying to make it fit a little bit in the context of how we meditate in this room. But
Yeah.
so I'm very interested in that. I'll go watch it. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to diminish whatever
No,
he's
no.
just
And it's
playing
like
with it.
there's so much to it that I'm not really addressing it properly.
I'm not
But
expecting you to recreate a TED talk right here, but that's really nice of you to tell us that that's really a profound talk. Yeah, and so yeah, and I like playing with fitness. So what parts of us become fit? So and it's pretty amazing actually.
kind of like loving kindness meditation, where if you're an asshole to everyone, you kind of vortex down the toilet, right?
Oh, I have to write that one down. Vortex down the toilet. There we go.
But if you're kind and generous to other people, then you kind of spiral up, right?
Yeah, and then from these meditation practices, there seems to be, you know, a tendency, as has been proven even from scientific perspectives, also, for us to be indeed be more kind. I mean, that's pretty clear.
Yeah.
It's easy for us to be kind in our little kind family,
Yeah.
you know, but
Yeah.
we get better, so we get more fit in other circumstances with
That's
our
right.
kindness. And who is it that always says, if you feel you got your kindness down, go spend some time with your family? I always forget. Somebody. Yeah.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
Good morning,
Hi,
everyone.
Julie.
Hi. Um, there's a the I really appreciate being here with everyone on Wednesday mornings, and I had something to say, but I kind of go blank every time I try and do this.
I do too at times. No, really.
I I was thinking, and it's thinking that we create also by thinking and consciousness. It's another way of having our influence on the world. So it's not all just biological. That's my 2 cents on that. But I really appreciate the play on the vision and the seeing, and kind of opening up the periphery, and kind of not focusing on an end thing, object.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that about the meditation this morning. And then you know, the music and the singing, I really got into the different slowness, and because normally it's really fast when you're singing, and I like that, the slowing down and actually being able to hear the different words. And then there's also, it just so happens to be this huge storm cell that's going overhead right now. So I've got some thunder going on as this whole meeting was going on.
Oh, great.
So
Really? And,
yeah, it
and
was really interesting to be
Tina does too,
taken
then.
out of things. Sorry?
No. Where are
It
you
was
right
really,
now?
oh, I'm in Irvine in Orange
Oh,
County.
further south. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and so I'm sort of near the coast, so it's, but anyway, I just thought it was really interesting being shooken out of being in a calm place, and then like getting back into it. And anyway, and so that's what I wanted to share. It's somewhat disjointed, but
No, if that was the profundity of blankness, that's pretty amazing.
and
You and
I really appreciate everyone sharing each week. Glenda's voice, she doesn't even have to say anything, and it makes me happy and cheerful, and I really appreciate that. And everyone else's sharing that I've heard, it's deep. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for sharing your appreciation. It's very nourishing to all of us, and
Thank you.
it's very, very important sometimes to share. And maybe starting in a blank space creates, of course, more of an authentic stream then, because now you had to be creative in the moment, and you know, it was like you had a little bit of a thought plan, and then go like, where the hell did all my thoughts go? Well, that was maybe a good thing, right? You quite possibly had something really profound to say from those thoughts, so you can maybe say that the next time or now. But in principle, I mean, there was no experience of blankness here. It was really from the heart, and And yeah, and yes, and what you said is very true about we create our whole world around us from thought. But we start really seeing the implications of letting our thoughts run, and then then we go like, well, now we get a little bit more deliberate about kindness, and or as Marguerite says, the fitness of our thoughts, or whatever, the fitness of just playing with words. It's all this like, no matter what you say, what we're really talking about is so deep and profound that all the words actually often kind of take away from it. But when you do your best and kind of paint with watercolors and kind of come from that open space, um, you can kind of guide people, and then you just let it roll and run. And it appears that most people then, I know everyone ultimately gets into a space of awakened presence. And yes, it has a tendency, by the more we do it, to be brighter and deeper, and even that is really not true, because that sets kind of a tone like it's going to be brighter then. And now we're back into what I was playing with, that dream theater of time. So, awakening does not take a long time. It doesn't take time. So that's it. I really like that phrase. It's not mine, and I can't remember where I heard it, but nothing is mine. And then when we come from the perspective, have we really ever created a thought? There is no thinker, so it's just happening. So just let it happen, right? Just let it happen. And if you let it happen, then yeah, then we don't have, then our thoughts have the tone of loving fitness. Thank you, Julie and Marguerite. That was great. No, really, I really appreciate that a lot. If anybody knows from what perspective to come when you open your mouth, I've been playing with that for a while, and I can tell immediately. That's kind of it has an egoic resonance, and then I don't go, oh, bad. I go like, oh, that's sweet. The little one wants to be heard. Go ahead, just don't do any damage out there.
Yeah, Timo, that's right. Just don't do any damage. But I have a thought. Julie, that was so sweet. Thank you. But I wanted you to be aware that you were present moment to moment because you heard the thunder. You were conscious. That's a moment. Then you're back, whatever is happening. That's what we're wanting to achieve, is consciousness, the awareness, and it's moment to moment. It's pretty cool. So at the end, though, back on Timo, is that horn, whatever that horn, that sound. By the time you play the horn, or at the end, and we're being loving to all beings, I'm so relaxed that I just go. I let go, and I go with that sound. And I picture that sound as unconditional love going into all spaces of all the universes, all times of dimensions of time and space. Blah, and I just go. It's so beautiful. That horn is so beautiful. And then it starts again. And then it is loud, and then it is sending it all out. Unconditional love and light. Beautiful.
I'm glad that you can, so that's what, when I was talking earlier, when thoughts start arising and the thought itself actually uncoils itself, it's like the thought brings us into presence, and then more and more, then ultimately, then thoughts actually become our liberation, right? That's kind of one of the routes we take. So and then we can go, well, sounding is our liberation. So you were kind of riding that sound openness, right? And then, but then you kind of let go of it too, because you don't want to be. It's not really just the sound. It's like the knowing, like space around it, and the sound is kind of making me realize my boundlessness, because it has kind of that, repetitive kind of boundless energy. I feel that too, and
wow.
So yeah. So I'm not gonna play sound every time. Just once in a while, because sometimes it needs to be quiet too, and we didn't do that for all the years we were together, something a little bit new I'm playing with, and also I have some plans. I'm getting a little bit more specific on what kind of sounds will happen. So you can give me private feedback on that too, because there are always some people go like, well, that sound really gets in the way of my presence, and I go like, oh, really? But it's still fair, you know. It's like, okay, I mean, ultimately, a lot of people that start meditating meditate a lot with guided meditations, which are really great. That's what we kind of do in this room too. And then, but really, really also meditate in silence. It's very important. So do that too, right? And remember your shorties. So maybe we can call each other a little bit more in presence and keep that. Well, we're a family, you know. Bringing each other home, and that's what we do in this space. It's really sweet. Does anybody else want to share something still, or do you want to
Yeah,
go
yeah,
with it?
I
Yeah.
would, I'd like to.
Oh,
I
you have
had,
your hand up. I didn't
yeah,
see it. Sorry.
I had an experience I wanted to share, and I want to thank you, Timo, for bringing up that story with the sky being consciousness,
Oh, yeah.
because for some reason it helped me enter into a very spacious awareness.
Ah, great.
I was resting in that and watching the thoughts come and go. And all of a sudden, a thought popped up that went, well, the Buddha said with our thoughts, we create the world. And I said, well, if my awareness in that vast emptiness where everything and anything is possible, why is it bringing up unpleasant experiences, unhappy experiences in my life when it could do anything? And suddenly I was just purely in that awareness, experiencing it directly. And I knew that from that place, and I'm using these words as placeholders because this is going beyond words, but in that place, in that experience, I could feel there was absolutely no preference for anything whatsoever. And it was like a Prajnaparamita Heart Sutra moment where I had gone beyond, and I could realize that it, like, no sight, no sound, no thought, no absence of thought. It's something entirely beyond that all just fell away. And I could just feel that there, because there was no preference, there was no happiness or sadness from anything that arose, beyond labels.
Yeah,
So that
there's
was
no
very,
preference there. That's true.
yeah, because it had gone beyond conception to actually dipping into and experiencing it directly beyond conception.
Right. So, but then, so that's then a safe space that you can always access in every moment, no matter how dark it gets. But then the question still kind of stands: is like, why is there still a tendency for us in our lives to sometimes have these dark experiences, even sometimes when it's maybe not so dark? But then it's like to start, the like a little thing happens, right? And then all the adjacent psychological areas light up, and we become very discerning about that. You can just really look what was the inspiration of this emotion and this thought, and then you go like, what was my inner psychological response? Is it in direct proportion for the survival mechanism need of this experience, or is this like my whole history, my family's history, karmic history, or the history of the whole universe? What is the origin? So you can get kind of into that, like kind of psychotherapy meditation, meditating everything like fine ground barley flour. And so since you are a very practiced yogi, you can choose now. It's like, oh, not now. So now I just come to the all good. Or now it's like, okay, well, there seems to be a thematic component to this which makes me not happy, my egoic presentation in the world, and then we play with that with all the possibilities that we have and have discussed. So yeah, so having the capacity to go in the into the all good, that's great, and then you can actually die while being in the all good. And also, I just want to say, I don't think it was the Buddha that said that thoughts create our world. I think it was Julie that just said that.
Well, I think when you let the events in a life arise within that vast awareness that has no preference,
Hmm.
I think that's the space where you start seeing recognition as liberation instantaneously.
Well,
And
then
that,
what happens is that becomes always present, right? So this is what we're practicing. So that's why we talk about this the simultaneous view. It's just like, okay, I am the field of open awakened awareness, and simultaneous, like, yeah, there's a life going on with all its tenderness, and and we can hold that simultaneous so it's like constantly like opening up, and so first it's like, first it's slow, we contract and we forget, and we like believing the movie, and I go, I'm back in the movie theater, oh yeah, it's just a movie, but the movie is pretty shitty today, but yet I'm in the movie theater, I'm in the all good, everything's fine, I got my popcorn, okay, whatever. Sometimes it's so, yeah, just start playing with that, and then the continuity of it, and then there is of course a tendency from that larger perspective for the movie to be more the all good and be more an expression of love. That definitely happens, and then when you're standing at the box office of your day, you choose maybe not to go watch the murderous knife movie. You go like, I want the Beautiful Vista movie today. And then it's like, but obviously all those movies exist in the universe and they all wish to be experienced. So don't be going like, oh, why do I always watch the bad movies? Well, that needs to be experienced from a psychological perspective and from maybe a universal karmic kind of flow. This is my experience and my expression in the world. And then ultimately, if it's a really dark and sad story, it becomes the inspiration for our compassionate, skillful means for all beings. So that's it. It's kind of that's just the way it works. But yeah, that doesn't diminish the fact that sometimes we're really sad. And that's valid too. So we don't trivialize the depth of the tenderness of our experience. It is, so vivid, yet insubstantial, yet so vivid. So yes, that too. So when your experience is vivid and sad and lonely and separate and angry and whatever emotion we can put to it, I'll hold you close. We all hold you close. Because where can you be where we are not? So when you feel alone, just come into that spacious space and realize a lot of us are in that spacious space right now too. And when I'm in that spacious space, I'm holding you because that's what I do, right? And that's what you do. So let's keep that in mind. So don't feel lonely. We're right here with you.
thank you. That's beautiful, Timo.
Has everything been said for the day? Do we go do our day now? Okay, then. Thank you so much, you beautiful twinkle lights. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you. I'm gonna go get popcorn.
I'm gonna get coffee. Bye.
Bye.